I want to SCR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. We are the Odds Couple. We come to you from sportsbookreview.com. SBRodds.com. It's week 15 in the NFL. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, and we're going to take a look at the Monday night game, Carolina-Washington. Now, Mike Brenner, you gave some nice analysis on this on our intro show on Monday on the opening line show. You gave Washington at -4.5 as an official pick. It's now up to 5.5 market wide.
I like that.
5.5 or 6, actually. Pinnacle's the only place that has 5.5. Everyone else has 6, so that's a nice little line move that you beat right there, Mike Brenner. You gave your analysis that you just don't really trust Carolina in general. The program, Kuechly is probably going to be still out and or hobbled. It should be. And you're not concerned about the injuries on defense for Washington, right?
No, I don't. I think they're just going to gut it out, and I think they're going to, they're going to plug the holes, and they know they got to get this win, and they can get this win. I really think Carolina had success last week because you had a quarterback, Cam Newton, that was pissed off at his coach, so he's like, I'll show you. All right? I think that quenched his thirst, and I think they know they're so far out of the playoffs, they're just going to go and travel, and I think Washington's going to get it done. I'm glad I jumped on it when I did, and that line movement obviously is moving in my favor. But all will be revealed, as my dad used to say.
That's right. Well, Carolina's been a terrible bet on the year, 4-8-1 ATS, and Washington exactly the opposite, 9-4 ATS, also a massive overtrender, 11-2. So nice job, Joe Duffy. Mike Brenner beat a line move by giving 4.5 publicly, and now it's up to 5.5 or 6. What's your take on it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if the Sharps are believing that Washington will have more guys on defense than a lot of people think with their really banged up Compton and Cravens, and their linebacking crew is very thin. It just comes down to this. I think it's a classic overachieving team to an underachieving team. I'm not completely sold on Kirk Cousins, and I think the Redskins are really more of a 500 team. Carolina, they're underachieving. Obviously, as we know, they went to the Super Bowl last year. They're still better on both offense and defense. Yeah, I know their best defensive player, Josh Norman's now going to be playing for the other team today, their best defensive player from last year when they went to the Super Bowl. But still, Carolina's better than they've shown, and I think this is really a good chance for them to regress to the mean because, as I said, Washington's banged up, and I'm not really sold on the Redskins, so I think Carolina gets the cover here.
Head-to-head.
Head-to-head, baby. I smelled it coming.
Sounds like Joe Duffy's liking Carolina +6.
He's trying to go for 2 in a row against Brenner.
The Panthers got some benefit, a big benefit from the turnovers last week in their win against San Diego. And before that, they were just losing game in and game out against the spread.
I have to disagree with Joe. I mean, I like the breakdown, for real. I do like the breakdown, but I just think Cousins at home is going to get it done, and I'm not so sold on him also. But I know one thing, that defense at Carolina is going to have a hell of a time keeping up with them receivers. I think Deshaun Jackson's going to be absolutely all over him. And Josh Norman's going to play the game of his life because he doesn't want to beat anybody worse than this team. And his team, whether they're backups or not, are going to rally around him because I'm telling you, that goes a long way in the NFL, that ego, emotion. And as long as Cam Newton's on the other side, I love going against him because I can't stand that guy.
A bunch of injuries, though. Last week, Washington was missing 2 starters on the offensive line, and then they got a bunch of injuries on the linebacking core. So there's injuries on both sides of the ball for Washington.
There is, but there's also on the side with Carolina. They're banged up, too. And that team just, like you said, ATS-wise, they're not bringing it. What do they have to prove this week? Because I don't think Cam Newton would care to try to spoil anybody else's season. He's a very selfish guy. And I know I'm knocking him bad, but I just know that guy's pattern. All right. I think he might even throw a couple pick sixes.
Joe Duffy, this year it's been kind of dangerous to go head-to-head with Mike Brenner in the NFL. You comfortable doing that?
Now, he is a heck of a handicapper, but I definitely think that Carolina is the play here, and they're not completely out of the playoffs. Look, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen. Of course, they got to start putting together some wins. There's no question about that, but they're far from out of it. And really, one of the reasons that Washington is in a quote-unquote must-win game here is they haven't done well in must-win games. Now, either has Carolina this year, but they've been there and done that. They've obviously know how to win with their backs to the wall. They showed that last year. So I think the fact that the pressure is on both teams benefits Carolina because Carolina has proven that they can win big games under pressure.
All right, well, Joe Duffy recommending a play on Carolina +6. Possible you could both win if it lands on 5. All right, Joe Duffy's been doing this for a long time, very successfully. OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy, give a plug for that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're working hard, especially for the Bulls. We already got a bunch of bowl picks that are up. NFL, I know I've got some plays for this Sunday. Make sure you visit OffshoreInsiders.com before placing a bet when my plays are finalized. Been winning since 1988 on the score phones, now at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.